Hey, what's in Madrid here? Doing an astrology reading for Matte0618. How you going? So you are Pisces, and you are born in the year of the horse. Alright, so I'll go through your astrology chart first, and then I'll talk a little bit about the horse. Sorry about that. So your rising sign, like you said, is in Virgo, and having rising sign in Virgo gives you a more sort of uptight, more meticulous character. When people first meet you, they'll probably think you're well dressed. The way you speak, it might be very modest. You don't tend to brag. You don't tend to show off. You don't tend to be loud. Um, yeah, you are more modest, more quiet, and you're more cautious about what you have to say, and you notice details. Second is your sun in Pisces. So, sun in Pisces gives your character a softer nature. Because Virgo is opposite to Pisces, you might feel like a push-pull, tug-of-war going on internally. Because sun in Pisces is quite dreamy. It thinks about things which aren't very practical. You might have an interest in religion or spirituality stuff, or you might really enjoy video games or watching TV series, or just doing something which gets you out of reality, because that's what Pisces enjoys. And your moon is also in Pisces. So having your moon in Pisces makes you someone who's very sensitive. You're very well aware of how people are feeling around you. You react very gently when someone's in need of trouble, and you always feel like you need to help someone. And if someone tells you a problem, you can probably get a feel for it, probably have very good intuition. You know what's wrong and what they're going to tell you and the general situation without having to be explicitly told. You're very well aware to the suffering or joys or emotions of other people. You probably pick up on the vibes that other people are giving, and you might confuse that to be your own emotions. Next is Mercury. So your Mercury is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is quite an independent sign. Having Mercury in Aquarius makes you someone who's quite stubborn in the way you think, makes you very solid in the way you think as well, I suppose, and it makes you open for new ideas. You'll also think about things like nature or things which help other people, like charities, that sort of thing. And yeah, you should have pretty good and reliable memory. After that, we have Venus. So you have a lot of stuff in Capricorn. You have Venus, Saturn, Mars, Neptune, and Uranus. They're all in Capricorn. So having Venus in Capricorn makes you someone who's more cautious when it comes to how you relate to other people. Venus is about relationships and money. So let's say you like a girl, and the way you go out after them, you probably, send flowers or write a note, take them on a nice date. You won't just go up to someone randomly and ask them out. You're probably not too spontaneous when it comes to things like that. When it comes to money, you are very, I guess you're very well versed when it comes to money. You use money effectively, and you know how to make money, and you know how to spend money to get the most of what you pay for. Next, you have Mars. Mars is the sign of aggression, masculinity, all that sort of stuff. And having Mars in Capricorn is a very good place for Mars to be in, because Capricorn is a very earthly sign. It's a very structured sign. It's very ambitious. it plans things out, it has a strategy, and it's very hardworking. And having a planet like Mars in Capricorn is very good for things like your career or anything which might involve discipline or things that take a lot of time. You'll find that you'll be able to complete difficult tasks, you'll be able to plan ahead, and you'll do what it takes to get to the best positions in your workplace. So after Mars, there's Saturn. Now, Saturn in Capricorn is a pretty good place as well. Having both Saturn and Mars sort of on top of each other in Capricorn, though, that might be a bit of a problem. But I'll just talk about Saturn first. So Saturn is the planet of reality, planet of restrictions, planet of being cautious, being thrifty, being frugal, and it's the very disciplined sort of planet. And having that in Capricorn, which is its natural sign, just makes that effect more apparent. You'll find yourself having quite good discipline, and you'll find yourself being able to stay on task, stay focused. Now, having Saturn and Mars so close to each other, you might find yourself in a bit of a push-pull situation, because Mars is all about going forward and Saturn is all about making the right choice. So you might find a bit of internal conflict there, where you want to do something and then you maybe you think too much about it and restrict yourself, stuff like that. So your Jupiter is in Cancer, and this is a good place for Jupiter to be in, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion, it's the planet of higher learning, planet of ideals, planet of goals, planet of all the positives in life, and Cancer is a very protective and nurturing sign. So having these two together, it'll make you very positive and very forward when it comes to doing things, but be quite you'll also be quite careful with the things you do. You won't do stupid, silly things. And yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Horse. So Horse is a very freedom-oriented sign. Horse likes to run very far. It's a little bit jittery though, because it's a bit too sensitive and just does its own thing a bit too much sometimes. Having Virgo as your rising and moon and sun in Pisces. Now your sun and Pisces, as you'll probably notice, is it's very central to your character, and so is moon in Pisces. It'll make you a very Piscean person, so you'll be quite dreamy and very sort of out of it most of the time. But then you have all this stuff in Capricorn, which is very different. It's very serious, very strict, and then you have your Jupiter in Cancer, which is also quite business oriented, and you have your Virgo rising. So you'll find that these forces come up every day in your character. Like maybe you have a very hard working side, but then you also have a side that just likes to retreat and do its own thing. And yeah, that's about it. Hope it helps.